An audit technique that aims to trace differences between commercial financial reports and fiscal reports is usually called.
Exactly. Reconciliation equalization makes sense, and it is right choice.
Dash is a tax treaty signed between two or more countries to help taxpayers avoid paying double taxes on the same income.
Nice work. You chose double tax avoidance agreement, and it is correct. For companies that are still suffering losses, what will you get from giving in kind and enjoyment? Well picked. Reduce income tax Article 21 is the correct answer.
The impact of not paying attention to the principle of fairness in tax collection is a characteristic of VAT Dash.
Great thinking. As an objective tax is the right choice. Dash refers to a situation where a person tries to reduce his tax liability by deliberately suppressing the income.
Perfect. Tax evasion is the correct choice.
Dash is total exempted because Constitution of India does not give any power to charge tax on agricultural income.
Excellent. Agricultural income is a brilliant choice.
Tax planning is an exercise undertaken to minimize tax liability through the best use of all available Dash income. On track. All the above is the correct answer.
Dash focuses efficient administration of tax procedures and minimization of tax liability through eligible schemes.
You're right. Both A and B is the correct answer.
The share in the profit of the partnership firm is exempt from tax under Section Dash of the Income Tax Act.
Great job. 10 is the accurate answer. Advance payment is one of the possibilities for equalization of corporate income tax returns with.
You chose PPM, and it is correct. Dash is an important consideration guiding the choice of a legal form of business organization.
Bravo! Tax liability is the answer. What is not included in the articles regulating pot and put income tax in Indonesia are?
Nicely done. Income tax Article 16 is a solid answer. Providing income for services provided by individuals is one of the equalizations of. Good job. Your answer, Income Tax Article 21, works well here. Dash is a method reducing tax incidents by availing of certain loopholes in the law.
Strong choice. Tax avoidance is the right answer.
8. Concealment of income or false claims to reduce tax liability are cases of Dash.
You got it? Your choice, tax evasion, is right.
Equalization of PIF 21 is carried out between objects of PIF Article 21 and Dash.
Well reasoned. Salary costs and income tax benefits is the correct choice.
Transfer of asset with the purpose to reduce the tax liability is the case of.
Clear logic. Your choice, tax avoidance, is sound and 100% true.
What is the tax rate for self-employment income for non-resident individuals?
Valid point. 30% is true. The rates and basis for taxation on dividend tax objects are. Correct. 20% and gross income is the right answer.
How can individuals reduce their tax liability through financial decisions? Excellent choice. By making smart financial decisions is the right answer. What can you claim a deduction for regarding tax donations in Malaysia? Nice selection. Assets given to friends is the correct and valid answer. Dash refers to compliance with the income tax rules and regulations.
Good thinking. Tax management is the right answer. Tax planning activities take advantages of which of the following? Solid response. Tax loophole and tax deferral is a valid choice.
There are dash stages in the imposition of tax by the government.
Sharp thinking. 3 is the right choice.
There are 2 bases for the imposition of output income tax, namely, right choice. Gross-based and net estimated value is the best answer. With proper tax planning, new business can get advantages of tax.
Correct response. All the above is the most accurate answer.
What the types of income are subjects to progressive tax rates?
Smart move. Self-employment income is an accurate answer.
What can you deduct from your taxable income for tax purposes? Or smart pick. Interest from Malaysian government securities is the correct choice.
What determines resident status for tax purposes in Malaysia?
Right again. The number of relatives is a valid answer. What is the general rate for sales tax and service tax?
Well done. Sales tax 5%, service tax 6% is the right choice.
Tax planning with reference to setting up of the new business.
Valid point. All the above is true.
10. Which of the following is an objective of tax management?
Good job. Your answer, compliance with legal formalities, works well here.
Showing lesser income than the actual income is the case of? Excellent choice. Tax evasion is the right answer. Dash excludes fraud, concealment, or other illegal measures. Nice selection. Tax avoidance is the correct and valid answer.
Tax planning is also relevant while deciding upon the dash.
Good thinking. Nature of business is the right answer.
Excluded from the VAT mechanism is?
You chose submission of BKPJKP whose VAT PPMBM does not receive facilities. And it is correct. Collection rates, the object of tax on imports with AP is?
Right again. 5% is a valid answer.
What are the 2 levels of tax jurisdiction in Malaysia? Great job. Federal and state is the accurate answer. Tax planning is opted in the reference of the following.
Bravo. Direct and indirect tax both is the answer. 1. Using the loopholes of law to reduce tax is known as? Strong choice. Tax avoidance is the right answer.
The following included in the scope of tax planning.
Well picked. All the above is the correct answer. 3-tonnage tax system is exclusively intended to dash. Great thinking. Shipping companies is the right choice.
In which year the Income Tax Act came into force? Nicely, 1961 is a solid answer.
Dash looks at future benefits out of present actions. Excellent. Tax planning is a brilliant choice.
Reducing of tax liability by showing lower income.
You got it. Your choice, tax evasion, is right.
Who is super senior citizen as per Income Tax Act?
Smart move. Age above 80 is an accurate answer.
Dash is the analysis of a financial situation.
Right choice. Tax planning is the best answer. The purpose of tax planning is to ensure dash. Correct. Tax efficiency is the right answer. Dash is the first step towards tax planning.
Smart pick. None of the above is the correct choice.
What is the minimum age to file income tax?
You're right. None is the correct answer. What does the scope of taxation determine? On track. How much tax you should pay is the correct answer. Tax management covers matters relating to. Well done. All the above is the right choice.
Following are the area of tax management.
Correct response. All the above is the most accurate answer. The goal of tax planning generally is to. Nice work. You chose minimize taxes, and it is correct. Unethical tax planning is also known as. Perfect. Tax avoidance is the correct choice. Tax planning is medium of reducing tax. Solid response. All of the above is a valid choice. Following are the needs of tax planning.
Sharp thinking. All the above is the right choice.
What is not a characteristic of VAT is?
Clear logic. Your choice subjective tax is sound and 100% true. What is the purpose of tax donations? Well reasoned. To increase taxable income is the correct choice. Dash is known as white-collar crime. Exactly. Tax evasion makes sense, and it is right choice. What is the purpose of tax planning? Well picked. To maximize tax savings is the correct answer. Under Income Tax Act, person means. Sharp thinking. All of the above is the right choice. Subject matter of tax planning is. Great thinking. All the above is the right choice. Tax avoidance legal implications is. Nice work. You chose loopholes in the law, and it is correct. 5 Section 115B relates to dash. Correct response. Minimum alternative tax is the most accurate answer. Tax avoidance aim of practice. Clear logic. Your choice hedging of tax is sound and 100% true. Tax planning aim of practice.
Excellent choice. Saving of tax is the right answer.
Income tax computed on dash. Correct. Income is the right answer. Tax planning is adopted by.
You got it. Your choice, all the above, is right.
Objective of tax planning.
Well done. Minimize of tax liability is the right choice.
Types of tax planning are. Well reasoned. All the above is the correct choice. What are tax deductibles? Valid point. Expenses that reduce your taxable income is true. What is taxable income? Right again. Income that not subject to tax is a valid answer. Medium of tax planning. Exactly. All the above makes sense, and it is right choice. Causes of tax evasion. Bravo. All the above is the answer. Tax avoidance is dash. Perfect. Immoral is the correct choice. Income tax is dash. Smart pick. A direct tax is the correct choice in tax avoidance. Nicely done. Avail benefit of loopholes is a solid answer. Tax evasion is right choice. Underreporting recognizable income is the best answer. Income taxes. Good thinking. Direct tax is the right answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Solid response. Contact Narayan Changda is a valid choice.